next is I have with me, Abhishek, who is the tech lead. Just to introduce myself, my name is Vences, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Deque India. I lead the products team, and I've been in the industry for good old years, more than 2 decades, and focus more on product development. And last job was with, JP Morgan as an executive director, and here I'm leading the products team. So we are going to quickly walk through one of the extensions that we built at Deque. This is based on the open source Axe core. Okay, so it builds on top of that, and so me, Abhishek, and Aparna will do a quick walkthrough. Will be more of doing a simulation of office environment, where I'll be playing the role of new tech lead for Deque India. Aparna will be the product owner, and Abhishek will be the seasoned tech lead for Deque. So before we move further, let me first, Abhishek, can you please introduce yourself?
Sure, Vences. I'm Abhishek. I have about 15 years of experience in the IT industry. I have a master's from University of Houston. I'm currently pursuing my second master's from IIIT Bangalore. I have been with Deque for 2.5 years, working as a technical lead over here. So I think that's pretty much about myself. Okay. Back to you, Vences. Yeah.
Thank you. So for the simulation, I will want our product owner, Aparna, to kick off.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vences. All right. So now I'm the product owner, right? I'm into my role now. Okay. Abhishek, we have recently recruited one of our tech leads, Vences, and though he has a lot of experience in product development, he's pretty new to accessibility. So would you be able to, being part of our organization, our processes and how we kind of, implement accessibility from the beginning? Would you be able to give a walkthrough to Vences around how things are, answer all the questions, be that onboarding buddy for him, please?
Sure, Aparna. Hey, Vences, welcome to Deque. This is a great place to work at. So let me go through some code examples for you, right? Let's say if I go to my VS Code. So
Abhishek, before you do that, I have a question, okay? Because sure. I know that you are using VS Code, but what Aparna was telling me is that, you have to, when you start the development, when I was sharing how we used to do accessibility in my previous organization, wherein I, as a developer, I go about, doing my development work. And after my development is completed, it goes to the QA, and then accessibility experts step in and they actually do the entire check, okay, of the code that we write. And that is, if I build a UI, they're going to run some tools on that and then say, hey, there are so many issues in this. It comes back to me and I fix it, okay, which is good. And I felt it was a very great idea, okay. But what Aparna was saying that, hey, Vences, but that's not how we do it over here, okay. We want to have, we generally shift left, okay. That is, even as we are developing and writing code, okay, we actually fix the accessibility issues. Now that was very interesting for me. Okay, so I would definitely like to see how you do this, Abhishek.
Definitely, Vences. As a matter of fact, once you shift your accessibility implementation left, you tend to save a lot of money. There were some studies to wherein if the code is fixed in QA versus if the code goes to production and if it is fixed, I think if it goes to production and if it is fixed, the cost is about 30% more. So if you fix it in development itself, it's very expensive, very cheap that way. So I have a few examples. Do you want to go through those examples now?
Yes, please. I'm very excited about this.
Sure. So you look at this code, right? I mean, I've just created this, component over here. Do you see? I mean, you don't see any errors over here when you look at this.
This
right?
looks good, actually. This looks good.
Yeah, and you can actually fix these errors, accessibility errors that we find out without knowing accessibility, standards or things like that. So
Okay,
first one,
actually, I don't see accessibility issues. Oh, you say there are some accessibility issues in this?
yes. So what
Okay.
I'll do is we have this beautiful extension that the team wrote for us. So I'll go
Okay.
through this accessibility extension here. I'll just click on enable. While enabling this, I'll go through a few points about this accessibility extension. Let me zoom in. Can you guys see this nicely?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's go to the features, like a few features over here. So you can actually check React code. You have these extensions over here: JS, JSX, TS for TypeScript, TSX. You have Vue. You have Angular files as well, component.html. You have your plain old HTML, or HTML, and you also have your Markdown. Apart from this, Vinces, what you can do is you can actually, there's no need for any configuration required. So I've just enabled this extension and I'm not going to make any changes. I'm not going to go to any JSON file and say that, this is what you need to do or anything. And what it will do is, if you take a look at the screenshot over here, this is what we'll give in live, but this is what actually happens. So when our developer is writing their TSX or React component over here, you see this line number 6 where there's this red squiggly that comes down.
Yes.
This particular tag has an accessibility issue. So this tag is sent and then you see this pop up over here, this modal that comes up, which shows you the message over there that says axe-linter, and in parentheses, it actually tells you the rules. And then, this is something that we will see live, wherein you get more information there. And scrolling,
Abhishek, sorry, just a question here. Is that, what you're saying is that this is a regular Visual Studio Code extension, which is available for me for free to use. The moment I install it and have it enabled, I can immediately automatically to start linting the code. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to do anything, nothing. It's for free. It's available for everybody. If you look at this, there are like 36,692 installs for this already. Wow. Even though we had it, we released it on March, but we made it publicly available last October, November timeframe. So we have like 37,000 installs on this one. So awesome. Yeah, so quick start, plugin is installed. It does it automatically. You're good to go. And these are the rules that it currently supports. When you go through these rules here, all of these rules that we have.
Okay, so these are all the accessibility rules that it can catch. So if I...
At this moment, yeah.
Okay, so if I don't use, for example, the first rule, okay, so let's say, for example, if I'm having rules, for example, for the image, I don't have alt tag, or if for an ARIA rules, I'm not specifying that, this plugin can automatically catch that even in the source code. You mean to say it's a static code analysis.
Statically. See, until now, what used to happen in our previous companies was the code or the page was supposed to render on a browser before accessibility testing could get started.
Yes.
So that we have shifted left. When we say shift left, is basically when you're writing code itself. Even as a developer, I'm not waiting for my code to be rendered on my local browser also.
Wow.
I'm not waiting for that also. So I don't need that. As long as my code, this extension is installed on my machine, we are good to go.
Okay, and if you scroll up, please. You mentioned that there is a React. It can support React. It can support Vue. It can support TypeScript. So, is there anything special I need to do, or it will automatically detect based on the file extension?
Automatically, you don't have to do anything. Zero configuration.
Wow.
Like no configuration required at all.
Okay, that's awesome.
Zero learning curve. When we go through the demo, then it will be a lot more clear. So for now, these are the rules. And for Markdown, we only have one rule over here. And these are the standards, right? I mean, if I want to, say which one of these I want, then, I can specify, I also want best practice, or, which of these standards I want. And if I want actually to share the rules across projects, across teams, I want everybody to follow the same rules, because I don't want one team doing WCAG 2.1 AA, other team doing WCAG 2.1 2 AA, or somebody else doing best practice. I don't want that. So I can create a simple axe-linter YAML file that would have the entries, and I can check it into my source code. Then everybody uses the same thing. So that's this. So this feature is also there. But To get started, you don't need all this. This is something that, at an advanced level that you would need.
Okay,
Any questions here, Vences?
Yeah, so what I'm understanding here is not just as an individual developer that this configuration, whatever I'm having, it can be shared by creating this file. So whenever they pull in this particular source code, that file is existing in the local directory, and it can actually apply the same rules for the other developer also, or to the group of developers who are working on this project.
Yeah, everybody who's getting the source code, this rules will be applied for them.
Wow, this is really interesting, Abhishek.
Yeah.
This will be very, very helpful.
Yeah, and these are the tags. This is how you specify. I can remove one of these or add these things. So this is how this will work for me. And yeah, I guess we are ready to go into the code. Are you ready, Vences?
Yes, I'm very excited.
So let me just open the folder part as well here, because there are a few things that have been implemented here. I'll go to this. You see this part over here, right? ARIA label hidden.
Yes, I think last time when I saw the code, I didn't find this line. Okay.
Yeah,
everything looked good.
Beautiful. Like you see this red squiggly across the entire element. And then you see this pop up over here, right? And if you look at the left-hand side, you see 1. It is marked as red. Even the directory, the parent directory, parent directory, all of these are marked as red with, this red dots around. The other files are not yet marked, right? Because one thing is, So when this is yes, and one point I wanted to share over here is, when I see this here, right? axe-linter, I get the rule, and then I say ensures all ARIA attributes have valid values. I have this Deque university link actually.
Okay.
So when I click on this, right? I mean, I don't have any accessibility knowledge. I'm not there. So you'll see over here immediately, it'll show you how to fix the problem. So ARIA attributes must conform to valid values, it says, and then it says, for example, ARIA hidden is true, would pass, but ARIA hidden RTU. So if I misspell this, it won't pass. Or if it is pizza, I don't know why somebody would write pizza, but yeah. But yeah, so this is what it is. So now when you scroll down, right, we'll say it also explains why it matters. It'll give you the rule description, the algorithm. And I want to bring your attention to the right-hand side of this, right? I mean, compliance data and impact. What is the user impact over here? What are the disabilities affected? So these are all for all the rules that we specify. What are the requirements? What are the WCAG success criteria? The section 508 guidelines. So this is basically how, as a developer with no prior knowledge, we can understand what this is trying to do, why it is important, the moment you see this, you understand the impact that you're going to have. And once I show you how to fix this particular, accessibility issue, you'd be like, oh, the impact is huge. So if I go back to my editor, VS Code editor, and if I follow the instructions, it said that, this should be true. The moment I do this, so I have met a rule which has an impact. So let me go back to this guy. So I've met a rule which has the user impact of critical. And the disabilities that it affects are blind, deafblind, and mobility, with just a simple change of yes to true, or whatever it was. Even if you had pizza over there, it would have, and I just had to change it to true. So does this make sense, Francis?
Yes, Abhishek. So this is really fantastic. So what you're saying is, and honestly, I don't really have any accessibility knowledge. Okay, I know that I'm very new to this, and there may be so many rules which I'm not aware of. So I tend to make mistakes, but the tool over here is not only showing me that there is an error in this particular line, but it's also giving me complete information about how to fix it and what is the impact it has for my users. And if it is critical, probably I'll prioritize that, okay, and say that, okay, I want to fix the critical issues first, or high impact issues first, okay, and then probably go to the next. So it is even helping me to prioritize my issues.
Exactly. And that just just changing this to true, we have resolved a issue that's critical impact, which affects all of these people. So
yes,
that's actually amazing. And I don't I started accessibility after having joined Deque. So let me go through a few more examples, right? Let me open this file. So the moment I open this file, again, I see the same thing, right? I have this ARIA roles that need to be there. I click on this. and these things come over here. So, what values have to be there. So same way I can go in and I can fix these, right? I can look at the user impact. It is serious and it's not critical, but serious is also sort of big here. So what is the success criteria? We know 412A and then WCAG 21A, all of these things. So now if you go through what needs to be fixed over here, you have what is the article, what is the alert, document, application, all of these things. So if I go to the role, what it says is ARIA roles must conform to valid values. Again, we have a date picker over here, which is not what it is supposed to be. And this is a range. Both of these break the same rules. Again, on the left-hand side, if you see, I see this number 2. This shows that this file is actually breaking 2 accessibility rules. So does that make sense, Vinces?
Yes.
So
how do we fix this now?
Yeah, so I go over here, I go through this thing again, I go through the documentation, I see, okay, landmark, is this a widget? Is it something like this? Is it, date picker? I know I'm using a role as a date picker over here. So which one should it be? Should it be, let's say, let me take, which one is this? So I'll put it as a widget. One second. Okay.
Okay, so Abhishek,
Yeah.
Meantime, okay, I have a question. One more question I have for you. Okay.
Sure.
So what I understand is for the developer, it's really very helpful. I can go and look into the, help and get the required help and fix this issue, which is excellent. But what if I'm not using, the extension? Okay. Oh, sorry. Say the same editor. What different editors does it support? And what should I do if, I don't have this same editor?
Okay, so for that, Vinces, what we have is we have something called as axe-linter server. So,
okay.
So for that, what we have is, right, you can't actually enforce everybody to install the extension. You can't enforce everybody to, have, have it enabled. And secondly, you can't have everybody on VS Code. Like for me, myself, I use WebStorm as my daily driver. So as for my code editing and all that. So for that, what we have is we have an awesome tool that actually integrates our pipeline as well. So let me go through this presentation for you. Let's say this one. So this is something that we have gone through earlier, right? Through the Aparna slide. But then for people who have not joined them, so let's go through our normal process, right? Typical front-end development process. So what we have is we have a designer over here. Then the design is shared by the front-end developer. And at the same time, your automation engineer is doing this. They change this thing here. And then you have a code review PR that's raised. It goes to the main branch. Then you have your CI integration that happens. It goes to the release candidate, and then it goes to production. So somewhere over here, what happens is, at this point of time, we know that we are doing accessibility within the code, within the front-end developer itself. But say, for instance, if I can somehow have this integrated within my CI, wherein I can say that, I can have some rules and that say that if I have accessibility issue, then I'm not going to be able to, I'm not going to pass this. Then, for that, what do we do? So going on to the next one, next slide, this opens. Okay, so this is what it is. So release candidate, then it goes to production. Yeah. So what we have is we have this SonarQube integration. I'm hoping, SonarQube integration, wherein you have your code repository. then you actually then go through your Jenkins CI server, wherein you have a connector with SonarQube, and we have our axe-linter service altogether. So the one that we actually saw in our extension, that is something that you can run on the server as well. And at the end of this, you get your SonarQube over here. SonarQube report that actually has all the bugs and everything fixed in there. So,
Okay.
do you want to go through a demo of this one?
No. Let's not do that. But what I am understanding right now for this session is that if the product owner or a technical lead like me, if I want to make sure that my development team is actually writing the right code. Okay, so even before it is really deployed, I can make sure that as they check in the code, okay, I can have this linter server scan the code, that is do a static code analysis, scan the code and list out all the issues. And these issues which are identified, okay, by the linter server, it can be pushed into SonarQube. So SonarQube can actually show the accessibility issues as a first-class citizen.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
That's wonderful. I think that's really a good view that I'll have. So if I have 10 developers, maybe some of them are using the linter plugin, some are not using, but irrespective, I can see all the accessibility issues into the SonarQube dashboard. Wow, that is really good. So one last thing I was wondering, we're talking about shifting left, and we did talk about having this developers, actually using these tools, and, as they're writing the code, they can fix issues. But I was really thinking if there was something really nice for the designer as well, okay, where the designer can actually identify issues even before you start coding, Is there something like that? Aparna, I think you were mentioning something.
Oh, yes, Wences, and that is what I'm the product owner of. It's called Axe for Designers. Though we are in the infancy, we are building it. The free version where you can test accessibility on the designs is available in the Figma space. You can look for Axe for Designers plugin, install it, and use it on the designs. And we should be expecting more enhancements and features pretty soon. But yes, we are in the process of giving something to the designers as well, along with the developers.
Okay, so there is, you mean to say there is a way for me today to actually go and test it?
Yes, you can. In the Figma space, you can just look for Axe for Designers plugin, and you should be able to do that.
Wow, this is really good. So that means I don't really have to wait till the time the code is ready for deployment. Last minute, people come and say, oh, there is a accessibility issues, and nobody really cares about it when it is too late in the development, because that time for fixing accessibility issues is never accounted for, or never considered, okay, right in the beginning. So it's too late for us to fix. But if you're able to do that during the design phase as well as during the development, I think that will solve majority of the accessibility issues. Thank you so much, Aparna. Thanks to you and Abhishek to walk me through this whole process. I think this was very enlightening for me. And with no accessibility experience before, I think now I know how to fix the accessibility issues, make use of Deque University to understand, not only how to fix, but also know what is the impact it is going to have, and all the knowledge that is shared on the Deque University. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wences, for asking the right questions and getting the answers from us. So thank you.
Thanks, Wences, and welcome to the team again.
Thank you. So I think now over to Ayush and Abin. We want to move into Q&A session, I think now.
Yeah, sure. Let's see, what questions do we get?
We have some pending questions in the chat from Neha,
Yes.
Nirupama, and Jenna.
I think I can see one question. I have installed Axe in VS, but I'm getting notification that unable to start axe-linter. Okay. Okay, I'm not sure.
So are you on a VPN by any chance, Nirupama? Is it, I mean, if you can type over there. Usually this is the error that we get if you're behind a VPN, which is not letting you communicate with Axe server.
Okay, so actually behind the axe-linter plugin, we have an axe-linter server which is running over there, and so the plugin will actually connect to the server for verifying the or validating the code. So I think that's not able to, it's not able to reach out because of your VPN. Am I right, Abhishek?
Yes, yes, Vences. So that's what it's not able to, when it says not able to start. You might also want to, restart your VS Code after installing. That might also help resolving the issue.
Okay, and in case if you still find we are not able to set up for any reason, try to reach out to us, and probably we can help you out offline.
Sure.
In case if it's taking more time. Yeah. The other question is, this is amazing. We use ESLint with our set of rules, and now we have an axe-linter. Thank you, Deque. Can we add our rules? With linter enabled, can we compile code without errors? So to answer the last question, yes, we have 0 false positive in axe-linter because it actually relies on axe core. Okay, so it is in a way using a subset of axe core. So you actually have 0 false positive over here. Okay, now coming to adding rules at this point, I'm not sure we can add rules. We already have listed out all the rules. But yes, if there is something specific that you want to do, reach out to us, to the development team, and we will see how we can, actually, have this, customizable. At this point, it is not, but we will have to see how we can do this.
Hi, Vinces. This is Nirupama.
Yeah, hi, Nirupama.
Yeah, this is very nice session I'm seeing about Vinces, first of all. And I have one question here, whatever right now has explained. So this is related to development. So before that, whatever the design we are delivering from design team, so what accessibility we have followed and how we have to communicate to developers that they have to code according to that one.
Yes, so we already have an axe-D, which is for the designers. Okay, so Aparna is actually the product owner for that. And
okay.
Aparna, would you like to add to this?
Yes. So Nirupama, thank you for the question. So we are in the process of building something called an annotation tool for the designs, right? So if you know accessibility, the development to a certain extent where you can say, okay, this is how you have to build it, right?
Yes.
We are going to give you a set of attribute states that you can use on the designs, and then you can have a handoff. But how you can do for now, until we we complete the development and bring it out, is you should be able to, have a documentation around each design that you are telling the developers that this is how, okay, this is a heading, this is a tab, for the tab, what all you need to use, or this is a nav region, or this is a landmark, main region. Those kind of things you need to specify to the developers because they may not be having all the required knowledge to make your design accessible. So, right. So that step needs to be part of the handshake between the designers and the developers.
Oh, great. Okay, so after delivering the document, so once they are doing that coding in VS, so it is showing some errors, no, after installing AXE. So automatically it is going to fix that accessibility issues, or how come?
Okay.
It wouldn't. I think Vences can take that. Yes, go ahead.
Yes. So at this point of time, we do not have an auto fix feature, but we are working on an AI model that can actually do that. Okay, that is still in research right now, I would say that yes, but we are going to get there. For now, we do not have it. But if you see, it does have a lot of information about how to fix that issue. Okay, it is not doing an auto fix, but it has all the information on how to fix that issue. Okay, but we have figured out some ways using AI which we can help us. But as I said, we are still not there. We are still in the research stage right now.
So you mean to say that I have to go through this page and I have to fix it in the VS, huh?
Yes, if you want more help, if you see what happens is like, see, generally as any ID, if you look at it, or it will, any compiler or interpreter, it will throw up an error saying that there is an error in this particular line of code.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
but for accessibility issues, it doesn't do that. Okay, so
yes.
this extension is throwing out an error just like any interpreter or a compiler, telling you
Okay.
that this is the problem with your code. But in addition to that, it is also giving you the knowledge base of how to fix it. Okay, so if you don't know how to fix it, you can look at the knowledge base, come back to your VS Code and fix it. Okay, but if you know, you can directly fix it in your code itself. Okay, but as I said, we are doing some research where we can do an auto fix. Okay, but that's still in a research stage where we'll be using AI to actually come up with the code which it's a fix for the errorless code.
Okay, okay, great, Vinces. But developers should be aware of what they have to fix, no? They have to be.
Yeah, see, today what is happening is, see, I personally do not have much accessibility issue, but when I look at my code, one, I'm able to know that there is an accessibility issue in my code, but I don't know how to fix it. So that is where the help is coming in. So it is showing you how to go ahead and fix it. So even if the developer do not have complete knowledge, and I understand that many times it happens that more even as new developers come in, they do not have the right training on accessibility. Though they know, for example, React, they have learned React, they know all about coding, JavaScript, everything, but they do not know much about accessibility. So, but this one is helping you, to identify that issue, one, and two is also how to fix it. So those things are there. So as you're right, developers have to go through this in case if they want to fix it and they do not have the right knowledge.
Okay, okay. Okay, thank you, Vinces.
Thank you, Neprama. Rashika, any other questions we have?
Hi, Vinces, Padma here.
Hi, Padma.
Yeah, as like Abhishek demoed, axe-linter plugin is open source for VS Code editor, right?
Yeah.
So it's giving us some remediation to fix the 11 by issue in a source code through Deque University, right? So my question here is Deque University content is public? Means like without having any access, can I go and check Deque University content?
Yes, Padma. So the link that I clicked, I'm actually, if you look at this, I'm not logged into Deque University. I can actually go through this and then, I can still, it's publicly available, this particular information.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for the question, Padma. And Vences, there is a question where, is there any course or training in Deque where we can learn about automating Deque in CD/CI pipeline?
Today, we do have more of, what we call it as, executive briefing session or executive briefing, wherein we have a team of, both accessibility experts and developers who are working on this internally, because we, as a Deque, is a product company, and we are also following the similar process in our product development. Okay, so we can actually share those best practices that we have. We do not have a course as such, but we do have a best practice sharing session we can do, wherein we can walk you through the process of how Deque is doing the development and how we are making accessibility as part of our development cycle, right from the design to development, and to even during the entire QA process, how we are actually using our tools. We can do a complete session on that. Course per se, I am not sure if there is something specifically customized. Abhin, Aparna, if you are aware of something, can you please talk about that?
Not per se to this, but we do have some documentation around the products as part of the Deque University content. We talk about more around, accessibility that needs to be done, or what needs to be done for the accessibility, but not addressing the core concept. But there's definitely documentation that may help you around the product itself. So probably that can throw some light.
Yeah, and I think any of this, if anyone wants to know more about how we can integrate with CI/CD, probably they can reach out to Abhin and team, and they will connect to the development team, and we can actually walk you through the process and help you over there. Abin, is that the right process? You
Yeah,
okay with it?
absolutely. You can email us at abin.choudhury@deque.com with any of your queries around this, or you can even email us at marketing-india@deque.com.
Thank you, Abin.
And Rashika has put out another email ID, marketing-india@deque.com. You can send out an email to that as well.
Yeah, that's the one I just said. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we do not have any further questions. The time that we lost in the previous session, okay, probably that was more interesting, Aparna. So I think, we can probably stop over here for this session.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
We can probably
Okay.
take a break.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
Right.
so much, Vences, Abhishek, and Aparna.
Thank you.
Well,